What's going on with the Wolf? And we back with another episode of The Couch. And this is a very, very interesting episode. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I find myself joined by myself. So today y'all gonna be able to sit in on a conversation between Nasty Nah, someone who I've grown from, to becoming a wolf. Them two gonna sit down and dialogue. And this is actually the season finale of season 1 of The Couch. So we wanted to make it a special episode, so don't go nowhere because it's gonna mean a lot to me. This is my first time being vulnerable, open, and transparent in this type of intimate setting on camera. So you ain't gonna wanna miss this, man. Wolf meets Nasty Nah meets the Wolf, and they have a conversation, man. The Wolf has spoken. I see y'all back soon. What's going on? We back with another segment of Wolf Books. And today, I wanna do something different. I'm not gonna just recommend one book, right? I'm gonna recommend about 5 to 10, however many I can, get out within this time frame, just so you can have a list of books to take with you. Because if you have downtime, I want you to go from this book to this book to this book. It doesn't have to be in sequence in which I name them, but these are just books that have helped me within my mindset. They help me within my self-love and my healing journey, help me become a better person. And I feel like it's something that can help you. So some of these books are gonna sound familiar because I mentioned them at some point in the season of this show, but it's just like I wanna send you off with something, right? So I gotta start with the 4 Agreements. It's a book that you have to read. It's literally mindset altering. It changed my life. Then I want to talk about The Secret. The Secret was written by Rhonda Byrne. It's also available as a movie or a book. If you can find the movie, it used to be on Netflix. I'm not sure if it's still there. I think they removed it, but find the movie or read the book. Then another book I'm going to mention that's written by Rhonda Byrne is called The Magic. The Magic is an extension of The Secret. It has a 30-day magic practice where it helps you get into an attitude of gratitude. I think that's one of the greatest books ever because of that. And it literally pulls you out of a dark space because it gives you prompts every day that just lifts your spirit, right? Another book I'm gonna name written by Rhonda Byrne, and I know I'm going through a list of Rhonda Byrne's catalog because she's just that good of an author, right? It's The Power. The Power is about love and just loving everything, especially yourself, right? So check out The Power. Then I wanna swing it over to Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Great book, definitely gets you into a money mindset. It helps you start to create those and understand how to utilize those universal principles to be able to attract money. Then let's talk about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, since we're in the realm of finance. Written by Robert Kawasaki. If I mentioned your name wrong, bro, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm thinking Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I think is a huge book to read for anybody of any ages. I think they even got one for kids. It really helped alter your mindset with money and agreement that we made from the things that we was taught. And it just really kind of shapes and outlines a stencil for how you should view finances and investments and real estate and different things like that. So gotta go grab Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Another book will be, cause I'm going through my list of, I love, dang. All right, I'm not gonna let my tank go dry. I'm gonna just say The Power of Moments, written by Dan and Chip Heath, if I'm not mistaken, that's their names. Go check that out. Definitely go check out Cheating is Not Cheating. Can't let this day go without plugging my own book. Make sure y'all go check out, I'm thinking, because there's so many books I read, man. The Voice of Knowledge by Don Miguel Ruiz. Let's talk about the mastery of self. Let's talk about the mastery of love. These are 3 books that you can buy in a package that also comes with 4 agreements. So it's 4 books. It's very cheap, like 20 bucks. These are just a list of books. I actually would do y'all a service and actually list more as they come to me, maybe in the credits or in the, in below for y'all to go check out. But I didn't want to specify just one book. I wanted to give y'all a list of books because people always asking me what books should they read that'll help them with their mindset. Those are just the ones I could think about. Yeah, just make sure y'all go check. Oh no, you gotta go read Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter by 50 Cent. Gotta read The Perfect Day to Boss Up by Rick Ross. Them 2 is great books written by Black men such as myself. And yeah, that's just that. So check out these Wolf book selections and suggestions that I'm giving y'all. And yeah, let me know what y'all think at the end of it, man. It's the Wolf. We'll see y'all back soon. They done got me down to the couch. I always wondered what it'd be like to get here, but no, it's actually an honor though. I'm happy y'all brought me down here. So we sit here today with the one and only Nasty Nah. But before you was Nasty Nah, of course you was born Naeem. So I want to know, who is Naeem, who is Nasty Nah, and then I want to know who is the Wolf. Yeah, overall, I would just say that like I'm a man that likes helping people, right, and leading by example, and just that I think that has always been me, even at phases of my life when I wasn't able to articulate that with them verbal communication or even with my actions. So I always felt misunderstood. So I would say like Naeem is like that was like my childhood itself. Like that's like what I was born as, like Naeem, like, you know. So like, of course that name never leaves you. It was my birth name, but at the same time, throughout the years, of course, like you start to grow and develop into different roles and different phases, and your names and your identity start to change. But Naeem as a kid was just, you know, I would say that was probably me for like from birth to about 13, 14, before I started to, you know, develop into becoming Nasty Nah. And then that name kind of carried with me. Nasty Nah was a young, and I'm sure I'll go deeper into it, but just young, fearless, ambitious, also felt misunderstood, but more confident than I would say Naeem was. And then I feel like Wolf is like a version of both of them, but more seasoned. Wolf is more seasoned, more patient, more understanding, more understood in a sense, but at the same time, still very much the same mission between all three of them, you know. But it's crazy because as we get more into it, you're gonna understand how Naeem ties into Nasty Nah, how Nasty Nah ties into Wolf, how they all tie together. Hoes, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna continue this conversation with Naeem, Nasty Nah, Wolf. See y'all back soon.
Hey Wolf.
What's going on?
Why should I register my business with First Step Marketing and not LegalZoom?
Can I give some examples?
Yep.
All right, cool. What am I holding in my hand?
iPads.
And which one would you pay more for?
That one.
Are you referring to the black one?
Yep.
Why?
Because it's bigger, it looks nicer, it holds more information.
What about now? What am I holding in my hand?
Books.
Which one would you pay more for?
Neither.
Why not?
They're the same book, they hold the same information.
Okay, so that pretty much describes why you should come to First Step Marketing and not LegalZoom. Don't pay more to get the same information. Don't pay more to get the same results. We are offering you the same information, and you'll get the same results by registering your business with First Step Marketing, and you'll save a ton of money. Come check us out. Now, before we cut to a commercial, we asked you who was Naeem, who was Nasty Nah, who was Wolf, right? And like typically we want to go more into the about the guests, but right now we just want to get right back into we want to skip right into our digging deep section, excuse me. So my first question for you is, how was your childhood? My childhood, it was cool because like I made the most of it, right? So I feel like when you're young, your mind isn't fully developed in a way for you to understand certain things or why you go through certain things, right? So for me, being premature, being in and out of the hospital, I hadn't experienced nothing else in life that would have made me feel like that was wrong. Like I grew up with other kids in the hospital. Like I spent the first, let's say, and I don't know I'm gonna jump back and forth within this timeline, but the first 10, 11 years of my life was in and out of the hospital. I had surgery every year. I was missing I can't call them semesters, but full like 3 or 4 month terms in school. And, you know, just spending a lot of my time in a children's hospital. So it's like, I wasn't medically cleared to play sports, even though something here and there I did it. But I really only remember when I think about the first 10 years outside of the little stuff I did, really it was kind of like just going to physical therapy, being in and out of the hospital, going to doctor's appointments, when I'm in school, trying to apply myself as much as possible. But at the same time, I have had years in that spurt where I didn't have to have surgery. And I used to appreciate those times the most. So, you know, it was my childhood was cool, but it was just, when I think back on it, it really was just me spending a lot of time in children's hospital, in and out. So next I want to know, and this could kind of piggyback off what you just said, what did you deal with as a child and how did you overcome it? Well, I definitely just mentioned, you know, the surgeries, but I guess I can go in depth. So like, it's blatant, it's obvious to see that like it's something wrong with my nose or whatever. Like I was born like this. I never really got like, I don't know, I think it was just me being born premature. So like I used to go through things, like when I was young, like especially when I was like 6 years old, cause like being in the hospital by yourself as a kid, you kind of spend a lot of time looking at the wall. Like I used to be trying to process, but I couldn't understand it. So, and I'm gonna be real, like my mom, the reason I love my mom so much, my mom was the only person that was at the hospital like every day. Even if she had to work 12 hours, she would still be there, whatever the case may be. But like my siblings never really came, but I never really fought at them for that. We was kids. It wasn't like they could drive or nothing. But just thinking back on it, like me dealing with this, me having my nose, whatever, I used to be real insecure as a kid because like when you young, you really don't understand why somebody laughing at you or talking about you or, doing certain stuff. So it's like, when I would go to school, I used to not, like, I went to my elementary school around my neighborhood for like the first kindergarten and first grade, whatever. So it was cool. People kind of was used to seeing me. But when I got in like second grade, I went to a whole new school in a whole new neighborhood. And like this was everybody's first time seeing me. It went from first to eighth. And like, I just remember like, even in my first day there, like, people would be laughing at me, whatever the case may be, or just making little jokes. I hear them or whatever. So that used to make me uncomfortable about like meeting new people. Cause I'm like, every time I go in a new room, I gotta face whatever somebody might say about me. So I go in them rooms kind of expecting it. You could be laughing about something completely different, but for me, I'm like, this person must be laughing at me because I started to get insecure or whatever. So that kind of plagued me a lot, but it made me become a bully. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm like, oh, y'all think something funny. So, it became like, oh, you gonna laugh, I'm gonna fuck you up, like flat out. Like, I kind of carried that energy for much of the first, for a long time. I don't know. That energy probably still there somewhere. All right, speaking to that same notion, because that was a lot to unpack, right? What were some of your insecurities that you would say you had to face and you dealt with, for better words? Really, I'm gonna be real. Like, it's crazy, right? Cause like, in this, I don't even know. My mom probably know this, but probably can't testify to it, cause like, I don't really talk about it. But like, no bullshit. I don't know if I think it was Oprah. When I was younger, used to be able to like write letters to Oprah and shit like that. And I never forget. I wrote a motherfucking letter to Oprah. I don't even think I mailed that shit. But I really was on the tip, like, yo, like, I gotta do something about this nose. Like, I can't keep showing up in these places or whatever. And me being a bully, I knew that wasn't gonna get me far in life. So like, it got to a point where after I did that, and when you're a kid and you having those thoughts of feeling like everybody laughing at you or you getting insecure, I had to realize I really had to look at myself one day and was just like, yo, like, this is who you is. This is what it is. And after years of me being in that same school and developing a reputation for being a bully in school alone, around my neighborhood, everybody already knew me. This before social media. So around my neighborhood, everybody knew me. In my school, I developed a reputation for being a fighter. So, and then people get used to seeing it. So eventually I became confident in that regard. Like, I knew that people knew that if they laughed at me, I would fuck them up. So that kind of protected me through those early years, my childhood, maybe up until like 12 before, I started to really find more about myself. And even like not being able to play sports, like all the kids running around, running fast. Every time I run a block, I didn't have asthma, but I had a heart murmur. That was something I forgot to mention. So like, and like, I don't know, one of these medical students probably could correct me, but for whatever reason, I was born with like a slight little hole in my heart, right? So I don't know what complications that really phased, but I know I said it a lot as a young boy because I was privy to that information. But I know that I definitely wasn't up to speed and par with them. So like, that made me insecure knowing that that's why I don't like that sympathy shit. Don't really fly with me. Like, I ain't really for that, because it's like, I spent so many years of my life feeling bad for myself. Why can't I play sports like them? Why I'm here and everybody at school? Yo, I used to watch kids. Yo, man, no bullshit. That's the last thing I'm gonna say about like that hospital experience, because it's real. It's crazy how it ties to everything. When they had this Make-A-Wish Foundation going on, like, you used to be able to pick out where you wanted to go. Mind you, I didn't know the concept of this shit when I was younger. No bullshit. So like, it used to be all these kids in there with and like, I had surgery. So I only talked about my nose, but I had surgery on my back too. They thought they felt like I had cancer. I can't tell you what type of cancer it was. I don't know the stage. I don't know none of that. I was a fucking kid, but I know that they operated on my back and they cut what they felt like was cancer tissues out. So around this time, they had me do the Make-A-Wish Foundation list, and everybody that was in there with me, like, we used to talk. We was all kids, and I wanted to go to Disney World. Some people wanted to meet like athletes and shit. And a lot of them was cashing in on they wishes, but they was passing away too. So me being a kid watching somebody that I'd be bunkies with, damn near, like, I don't got no friends because I'm in here most of the time, and I can relate to them but they got real deal shit going on. Like, they cancer, they bald, like, they got, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to sound sensitive when I say that, but I'm just saying, like, they shit was way more severe than whatever I was experiencing. But even as a kid, you don't think like that. You don't know that a little kid is going to die within a week and shit like that. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, even where, like, it's so crazy, because like, being in them hospital all the months, it go down to like, why I don't gonna say I got abandonment issues, but I don't attach to people. I be okay with people leaving because I get attached to a nurse, and the next thing you know, I would never see this lady again. And it's like, she's spending all this time with me, making me feel good about myself, walking me around the hospital, teaching me how to walk in, all these cool little things. And I would never see this lady again. So after a while, I got used to people just coming and leaving, like, and it just became like, all right, whatever. But even when I would see people pass away, it wouldn't hit me. I would feel bad because it's like, damn, we were just, but it wouldn't even last that long. But that I was insecure about not being able to, cause I'm jumping all over the place. I was insecure about not being able to play sports and all that, but at the same time being in another hospital, like I said, me making it with that Make-A-Wish Foundation, it was just like, I didn't even realize that like what I was going through that young was that serious. Like, wow, why would I be making a wish as if something, even though I always knew that it was a potential chance, we all could die, but for me, it just wasn't resonating. But moving forward though, yeah, I was insecure about everything in my physical appearance. I couldn't play sports. I didn't like the way I looked. And I didn't like the position I was in. I felt like I was helpless and I always needed somebody. And everybody made me feel that way. Like, oh, he needs something again, or you always gotta go to the hospital with Naeem, or you always gotta, and they made me feel like, damn, you act like I wanted to be in this joint. Like I said, yo, mom, take me to the hospital. I don't wanna fucking be here, I hate it too. But they thought I got special treatment because of it. But I think my mom just understood that like I needed that extra love, and she just didn't shy away from giving it to me. Yeah, after a while, it just became like, how many times I'm gonna feel, nobody gave a fuck. Nobody cared. When there's all, people love you, but like nobody, when I say I don't care, I want to say they wasn't showing empathy and sympathy, but it was like, in reality, even at that age, I think I understood that, yo, everybody got some shit I'm not about to keep feeling bad for myself. And for me, it just became that, like, I'm about to take control. So I started to, like, if I didn't like the way something was going, I was changing it. Even if it was against what everybody else told me. I did that in school, at home, whatever. I became a little rebel. And if you made me feel the way I ain't like, I'm gonna make you feel the way you don't like. You don't want to get your ass beat, right? So I'm gonna make you feel that way too. Like, you feel me? I don't want you laughing. So then we both agree on something. Don't laugh, you won't get your ass whooped. And yeah, but that only works sometimes. Sometimes I got my ass whooped too. But some niggas just don't want to fight. They know I'm gonna fight you every day. That little nigga will fight you every day. You gotta just, yeah. But I'm making a joke of it. But yeah, that really was that though. All right, that brings me to my next question. So like, when would you say your self-confidence came? My real self-confidence came from maybe when I turned like 14 because it was phases of it. So it's not like it was like one day I just became confident. Each different phase of my life, I'm going to run into new people that's going to present different challenges. So after I got medically cleared to play sports and all that, I started playing sports around like, I was playing sports before that, but I wasn't medically cleared. I started playing organized sports around like 10 for real. And, my brother and them used to be crew. All of my friends around the way, they knew what I looked like, but we still used to bust and joke and all of that. They used to tell me shit like, you ain't gonna never get no bitches. Like, yo, they used to tell me no bullshit, right? I can't make this up. They used to be like, yo, you ain't gonna have no prom date. You ain't gonna never, like, they used to just say the craziest shit, but I was crew too, so I'm not gonna sit here and act like it was just like I wasn't. Like, after a while, I started learning how to bust. I became funny. Like, people talk shit about me, I figure out ways to roll with the punches. But my confidence, I still really didn't have confidence. Like, I only got girls probably because I was tough. Like when I was young, like I ain't gonna lie, like, and I probably used to pay my way a little bit, like, so I can't really say I was confident because like, when you're a young boy, you got this grittiness to you. The girls like that, you know what I'm saying? I might be buying them gum, buying them jump ropes and shit. So like I had my little ways to get girls, but I don't really think that they was fucking with me. I felt like they was fucking with what I was offering them or whatever the case may be. So I don't think my true confidence came, to kind of tie it full circle, wasn't until I became Nasty Nah. Cause I had a couple girls before that, but I don't think I was confident with that. I think I just knew how to get transactional love in a sense. Not that I was tricking for somebody that might be trying to pick through what I'm saying. I wasn't really tricking. I just knew that girls like certain things, and if I did that I could get them. But I don't think I really developed my confidence until I kind of grew to become Nasty Nah. That's another story. Yeah, nah, that's a lot to unpack. I wanna further this discussion, but before we continue, we gotta cut to another commercial break. So don't go nowhere. When we come back, we're gonna finish this conversation with Naeem, Nasty Nah, and Wolf. See y'all back soon. I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why you should come to First Step Marketing. For one, we're affordable, which means that we are cheaper than all of our competitors, which means you get the same results, a much smoother process, and a much cheaper price. 2, we're convenient. We're located smack dead in the heart of Philadelphia. So if you live in Philly or the surrounding areas, you can pull up on us and get face-to-face service, or we can service you virtually from anywhere in the world. And 3, we're reliable. We've serviced thousands of satisfied customers who have nothing but good things to say about us and our service. And we would love to add you to that list. So look below for details, come get with us. We can't wait to take care of you. Wolf has spoken. So before our commercial break, we talked about the self-confidence, but it was something I wanted to ask you that I forgot to ask you. When did you realize that you was a leader? So I'm gonna be honest, like I kind of been told that my whole life. So I kind of did jump around a lot because like for me, I don't really think, I know we always talk about how much our childhood plays a factor into who we are as men. And when I reflect on it, it'd be funny to me because it do. But I don't really revisit that phase in my life that often. So like I know I was jumping all around. But in between those years, the first 10 years of my life, I already was being told I was a leader. Like even when I was 4 and 5, I used to hear it. Like I used to always have that one kid that might have been with me all the time or something, and they used to felt like they was like following me. But it wasn't until I probably got to second grade, I was 7, and that's when I started hearing. From that point on, I just never stopped hearing it. Every administrator at the school, every security guard, every disciplinarian, the principal, every teacher, you know, they would talk about my leadership I've been called a ringleader. One of the I don't know what title he would call. I would call he was a security guard in a nutshell, but he wasn't the security guard. He used to call me John Gotti. I didn't know who I didn't know who John Gotti was, but he used to be like, yo, that's little John Gotti. Like I'd see him the way he navigated through this schoolyard. Cause mind you, at 7, I was in second grade. That was my first year at my new school. I told you when I got there, I was getting laughed at, but I instantly became a bully. And they wasn't really cut how I was cut. I'm gonna be real. Like it was like a school. It was like an academic type school. So I was coming from my neighborhood school. So I used to once I got into my first fight, and then I beat him up or whatever the case may be. I realized like, oh, all right, I had to put some fear into people. And when they started to fear me, I felt like they started to want to be a little bit more cooler with me, be nicer to me, and follow behind what I would say. I even started to bully the bullies. I used to kind of look. I was never somebody that picked on somebody that was a punk. Like that was never my thing because I felt like I resonated with the person being bullied. So let me be clear. When I bullied people, I always chose the toughest person. Like it was never, I'm a bully you soft. It was like, oh, you think you tough. I have nothing to, and I felt like I genuinely had nothing to lose. Like at a young age, I did not care. I felt like I had nothing to lose. So my leadership, the way that was, it was just like people seeing me be fearless at 7, fighting 3rd and 4th graders and shit like that. And it was to a point where, yo, man, and when I think back on it, because I got a 6-year-old daughter now, yo, I had a homie in 2nd grade. We were 7 years old. He used to call my house phone. We ain't had cell phones. Well, you know that. He called my house phone at 7 in the morning, what we were in the school today. And my mom used to be like, who the fuck do you think you are? Why are these little boys calling my phone? Why are they calling my house 7 in the morning asking what to wear? What colors y'all wearing? And like, I didn't understand. Now if I look back at it, because I got a 6-year-old, like, yo, if I seen my 6-year-old get a call and a little girl was asking her what to wear, I would be, as a parent too. But yeah, going all the way back to then. So like, I think that like, that's when I first started to hear it, but I don't know if I understood my leadership abilities back then. I just knew that they was doing what I did or what I told them to do. And at 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 is like, you don't know yourself. So of course, whoever that seemed like the toughest or the coolest or the most popular going to have an influence. And I just had that influence. So I always got told I was a leader. But I just think back then it was more like negative. It was like, oh, he's a ringleader of this crew that's going around the school doing this or going around the neighborhood doing this. You know what I mean? So I say since I was like 7. All right, I wanna pivot more into your teenage years now. I wanna know what was it like for you as a teenager? We talked about your childhood. What was your teenage years like? Oh, you just jumping out there, huh? You just jumping from this phase to that phase. My teenage years was better, way better, right? Because I already had a formula which I felt worked. I always knew if all else failed, I could fight. And then I mentioned like I got a little funny, so like the jokes got less funny because by then I heard all the jokes. I was a little bit more okay with it, and I was a little bit more reactive in the sense of like I already went into rooms feeling like if somebody laughed at me, I would have tried to fight them. And I'm not acting like I was the toughest guy in the world, but this was my way of protecting myself, right? I was like, this is how I did it. As a teenager, it was a little less than that because I say 12. By then I'm playing sports, I'm traveling around AAU, I'm doing all the stuff I want to do. I feel like a kid, like I feel cool, like I'm in the game. Like the doctor said I ain't going to therapy no more, I'm not doing none of that. They did say little shit like you're going to have back problems at this age, you won't be taller than this. It was little shit they said, and you know, that's what they felt. That's what the doctors felt, but I disagreed. But I was just so hype to be able to have what I consider to be freedom. I never wanted to go back to not feeling like that. So I'm playing in every basketball league in every neighborhood, playing football. I tried baseball. I'm trying everything. You know what I mean? And I think 12, 13, 11, 12, 13, because I think I got medically cleared around 11, fourth grade. 11, 12, 13, 14, I really was playing sports. I never really stopped because I'm still like athletic, but I just was like, after a while, you get older, this shit ain't taking me nowhere. I'm 5'3". I ain't going to nobody in NBA or NFL. But my teenage years was cool for the most part. I also at 11, I started to, once I got cleared to even play sports and stuff, I started to sweep the barbershop after football practice to make money. That's kind of weird. So that's why my hustle, well, I always been a hustler, but because I was a hustler even at 7 when I started like my first business, but that's no here nor there. At 11, I started sweeping the barbershop, started cutting grass, all that cool shit. And that kind of got me in the mode of making money. But by the time I turned like 13, I had my first dollar party for my 13th birthday. I had a couple friends. I had more friends, like more genuine friends by this time. Some of them was probably just my friend because I was like still the neighborhood bully, but I had more genuine friends. By 14, I'm in high school. I already got a reputation from middle school. I already got a reputation in my neighborhood. So high school was kind of cool. It was a new world for me. High school was cool. And this was my first time really finding out about like neighborhood beefs and shit. Cause in my middle school, everybody was from everywhere. It was an academic school. It was like, I don't know where you from. You just in my class. But when I got to high school, it's like, I'm thinking the same shit. Like, you in my class. Like, all right, it's my man. Like, we don't fuck with them. Like, it's like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I got jumped because of this shit and all that. Like, I ain't know. Like, and mind you, it wasn't like I was already somebody that was known to fight and all that and, you know, known to cause ruckus. But my neighborhood had got into some cool shit in the school. I thought I could mediate the situation. Like, oh, no, you know, I fuck with them. I got back to the neighborhood. They like, no, bro, that's not how this shit work. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, I had a homie that was in that from there or whatever. I thought it could be cool. But that same day I had a game. They jumped me at the game. Like, them niggas jumped me. Like, so now I go back to my hood. Like, we told you, dickhead. Like, you think this shit a game. It's not like that. So that was like something eye-opener for me. But then from there, that next year, 15, that's when Nasty Nah came about. So I'll just tell you how I even got the name. So many people be thinking I'm on some freak shit or something. Like, why they call you Nasty Nah? It's like, bro, it's not what you think. It was like, I never had an identity outside of Naeem. I was just Nah, right? And then how it was so many Nah. You try to say Lil Nah. I'm like, which Lil Nah? 20 of them. Then they would say the bull with the nose, right? So for me, it was like, I embraced it. Like, all right, you know, they describe me by my nose, the bull with the nose. By this time, I don't care. I'm getting a little bit of girls, probably not a lot, but it was just like, it was more than just, it was something that I was all right with. I didn't care. I felt like after a while, it was like, how was y'all going to identify me? But this was going on the party days, and a lot of niggas had different names. Like, you know, if people, whatever, your name, like for instance, my man's name was Quan. We called him Quani Quan. Like, you had like a double name like that. Your name might be Marky Mark or some cool shit like that. And like my man Quani Quan actually gave me my name because he just came home from school one day. He was like, bro, I was just at Broad and it was like some rap battle going on, and the nigga had said he had his whole hood with him. He was like, in the hood they called me, and the whole crowd said Nasty. He said, we should call you Nasty Nah, right? And like I ain't had no rebuttal to it because that was an upgrade for me being a bull with the nose, and it just stuck. It wasn't no intricate really thing to it. It was just like, all right. So when he gave me that name, it was like, oh shit, like, so who is Nasty Nah, right? Like what did he do? Like I felt like a whole different person. Like what can Nasty Nah do? And I felt like that's where my true confidence came because I started to ask myself, like, with this new identity that I have, what can I be? What can I do? And I was already going to parties with him and with other people that I was cool with that had buzz. Like, the niggas I was around, they was super duper popping. And I really just was known for being with niggas. Like, the boy that be with, I didn't have my own name. It was like, oh, that's the boy that be with Quani Quan. That's the boy that be with Lil and them. Like, he be around them. Like, it was never like, he is his own thing or own entity. And when I became Nasty Nah, it was like I said, what could I do? So I ended up starting my own party group. And the reason I even started it, because like I said, when I was hanging around my man, like he used to let me feel a part of what they had going on, but always remind me that I wasn't all the way down. And I went through that a lot. That's why knowing yourself and like having genuine friends is important, because like he fucked with me, but I felt like his crowd never really fucked with me. And like it was just like, we tolerate you because you his man type shit. So and that was like, 14, 15, when I finally became Nasty Nah, I was like, I'm gonna do my own thing. You know what I mean? And he was like, he didn't think I was gonna be able to do it, but again, I don't give a fuck what people say at this point. So I ended up starting my own group. It was called Team Loyalty, and that shit sparked everything because I was in control of what I did within that party scene. You know what I'm saying? And I started to ask myself who I wanted to be. How can I get popular? How can I get known? And I ended up getting a party song.
Inside Scoops, I'm gonna interview all the lawyers that work get inside Scoops with everybody, how they got done with me, how they met me, how this shit started. I'm gonna get the whole full and the money I'm about to see. How I discovered the name, how we became such a family. It's a brother thing, you know what I'm saying?
We started that family. Yeah, everybody wanted to be a family.
We ain't even gonna get into that. Niggas know. I ain't even gonna put it in.
And at the time, this is a fact. At the time, only groups had party songs, right? So it's like, you know, we all done with the Wild, we all done with the Dollar Party, we all done with the party that was being had in that era. And every group had a party song. Whatever that group was, they had a party song. But there was no person at all that had their own song. And, you know, I was just like, yo, I want my own party song. Like, I want to get my shit played at the parties too. And niggas ain't see the vision, of course, but I did it anyway. I paid my man DJ Keith $10 for this shit. Who would have thought that shit would have made me like legendary at that time? Him just taking a beat and just literally just making really making a simple beat and me just saying nasty, 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 nah, nasty, nasty, nasty. And that right there, next thing you know, within a little time frame, is getting played at every party. Full disclosure, I was paying some of them DJs, but I knew that I wanted my shit played. So I used to get them like $5 to play my song. I said, yo, every time you play it, I'm gonna give you $5. So people was hearing that every cookout, every party, and they're like, who the fuck is this? Nasty, nah, nigga. I'm running around with shirts and hoodies on that got my name on it, like just doing anything to get myself out there.
Nasty, niggas about to buy out the bar. Cheap as shit. You mad as shit. You wanna suck my dick?
Why you so hyped? No, that's how Doc was in the car. That's how Doc was in the car.
And honestly, it really sparked the movement because it made everybody around me popular. Because think about it, like, dude, we wasn't rappers or nothing. This was a party song. We had party dancing the same way they putting other songs in rotation. They got my shit in rotation, whether I'm there or not. So to the people, I'm damn near like this. We had MySpace. We ain't really had the social media was just coming. I'm popular as shit off this shit. All of our parties popping, everything. Everything we doing, we packing it. You know, wall to wall. Can't get in. Cops are shutting us down. You know what I mean? I'm 15, 16 years old making thousands of dollars off a party. Shit, that right there, that made even the people that used to laugh at my brother and them, you ain't gonna get no girls. I had more girls than every last one of them niggas. Like, they know what's up with me when it comes. I had every nigga that was around me that was getting more girls than me, didn't have more girls than me no more. It was over with. Like, I started to have the most girls. I'm 16, I got a car. I ended up with a baby, but we'll get to that. You know, and that shit was cool, but my teenage years also took a turn. You know what I'm saying? Because I ended up, with all of that fame and all of that notoriety come with other shit too. It's a two-sided prong to everything. Is a law of polarity. It's a positive and a negative. And the negative aspect of it was it come with hate. It come with people that want your spot. It come with people that, he ain't all that, man, fuck that nigga. We're people that want to make a name off you or whatever. And I kind of was never going for that. So I found myself, even in our party days, getting into a lot of altercations with other people because I wasn't backing down. So my teenage years went from excited to have freedom to now it's like I'm so known, and the moment I do something, everybody talking about it. Anything that happened with me, at least in my demographic or where I was at, I would hear about it. Like, damn, like it was like rumors and all types of shit. And it went negative. And then I just took a step back from all that partying and shit because it became a thing where it's like, I don't even want, we go on the parties, people leaving as soon as we come, people feeling uncomfortable, they think we finna start some drama, just all because people was trying to pick with us and we just wasn't going for it. So, you know, that's kind of how my teenage years went up until like 17 when I stopped partying. Then I start selling drugs. And that was I was mature as shit for my age. Like, by then I'm like, I ain't partying no more. I'm too old for that shit. I'm grinding. I got put in a position. Now I'm 17, 18, and house 11th and 12th grade. I already had a car. And I'm just figuring that phase out of my life. I'm in the streets at this point. So, but I did finish high school. I vowed to finish high school. And yeah, I did. I made sure I finished high school. Okay. What are some things that you dealt with as a teenager and how did you overcome them? Well, I just spoke a lot on all of it. Really just kind of, like I said, just the different phases of development of like, being nobody, like literally being a nobody, being known for being with people, to being somebody who's known by everybody, to then being somebody who's known by everybody, but also disliked by half of these people for other decisions that I made, or just being myself at that point in time. People thinking I'm arrogant and cocky, when in reality, I'm just finally happy to belong to something. And I just wore that with pride. I always wore everything I did with pride because it was mine. It was like, when I wanted to be a part of y'all shit, y'all ain't want me a part of y'all shit, but now it's my shit. I'm gonna rep this shit like it's the death of me. And I think that created a lot of problems because, like I said, it's the law of polarity. For every positive is a negative, every negative is a positive. So throughout my teenage years, I just felt myself fiddling with that. But teenage years for me was lit, though. I was that nigga. Like, I'm gonna just call a spade a spade. So I can't really say, yeah, I had ups and downs, but I felt like I handled every bit of adversity with honor. So I was cool. You talk rather highly of your teenage years. It seemed like a bright spot in your life. But I want to know, what was the biggest hurdle you had to overcome as a teenager? My teenage hurdle really would have just been, let me take a beat. My teenage hurdle probably really would have just been that navigating from being somebody that nobody gave a fuck about to somebody that I feel like everybody talked about, in a sense, being this like love person to being this hated person, and not really know how to navigate that space. Really just segueing into the streets. Like I said, like, that come with little, like how that shit go, but that was just a part of the journey for real. Like, it was just a learning experience. But my teenage years was cool. Like, everything Nasty and I went through as a teen, I don't think he would have been prepared for what would have happened next. I could really just say that those years was pretty cool. It was just kid shit, dealing with kid shit for real. And having a kid, I guess I could say, was a big hurdle because, again, I got my daughter's mom pregnant at 15 years old. I'm just like, I don't even know myself. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Have a baby at 16. Already still having them little insecurities that still stem back. Not really like, so again, when I got my confidence, I would more so feel like that was like a ego thing more than I would say it was a real sense of self. So, just dealing with the ups and downs of trying to parent having a kid while being a kid with a kid, by a kid, is like, that's too many kids involved. So I feel like that was a big hurdle for me because still to this day, I be finding myself feeling a certain way, and I always explain myself to my daughter, and I try to explain, like, for them first, because I feel like I didn't really embrace the role of parenting until my daughter was like almost 2. And like the first year and a half was like, I would probably go 2-3 months without seeing her. If me and her mom was arguing, and mind you, we two people that didn't know each other, two people that laid down together that really didn't know much about, we didn't know ourselves, let alone much about each other. Now here we are about to have to be tethered together forever when we ain't never really, we don't know each other. I don't know your family, you don't know my family. We don't really know nothing really about each other outside of the fact that we had some phone conversations that led to sex. And, that was that. But, it was just one of those situations where trying to navigate learning somebody and their ways while trying to figure yourself out while a baby is actually here. So if she say something about me I don't like, or if I say something to her, I don't see my kid for 2-3 months. By the time I turned 18, I had to, like, no, like, there's no more excuses. Like, I'm not letting this be a thing. So yeah, that was really probably the biggest hurdle I had to face at 16, being talked about by my peers. Everybody in the fucking world knew, oh, that's the boy with the baby. It was always the boy with something. It's the boy with the baby. It's the boy with the party song. It's the boy with the nose. It was always the boy with something. But my family was talking crazy. Like, I don't know how he gonna take care of this baby. He don't even got no job. Whole time I had shit going. They didn't know I had motion, but it was cool. Like, how he gonna take care of this baby, and it's gonna be left on the parents? And they just said, he only 15. What he doing having sex? You know how parents and shit be. But yeah, that was that though. My teenage life wasn't that. It wasn't that. It kind of prepared me for my early 20s for real though. Yo, this conversation is getting deep, man. Before we continue, we're gonna cut to another commercial break. So don't go nowhere. We'll see y'all right back after these messages. But we the ones that sat down at the table and came up and said, yo, we need to start something. We need something for people to follow. Because if you don't give them it's not too many leaders out here. But if you're going to have them follow, you want them to follow you in the right way. You don't want to lead them in the wrong way. So that's what we did. We created this movement. You know what I'm saying?
What the movement stand for, RNO?
All right, recognize no opponent. RNO means recognize no opponent. And like when people ask, what it is to recognize no opponent, I always tell people that the mental thought of your opponent not existing eliminates the possibility of you fearing them. So if you take it out of your brain that your opponent is even there, it eliminates any possibility of you losing to him because you won't fear that as a threat. You feel what I'm saying? Okay, I feel like we're getting somewhere now. First of all, I'm gonna say you've been through a lot in your life. even up to this point, learning about your story, you know what I mean? And I want to definitely take this time to commend you on how far you've come and the things that you are able to overcome. And just to even get to this point, right? But I don't want to go too far into it because I got another question. So, like, what was your 20s like? Well, I mentioned, like, how my teenage years was, like, cool. And I don't know if, see, it's like, for me, my whole life is like a book or even a movie. So, like, trying to be as detailed as possible is something I'm trying to do, but I'm recalling events as I think. But my early 20s was, so like this was post me being a party promoter. I stopped party promoting at 17, which was relatively early, even though I had a lot of success that people might consider. From 18, I was just grinding, doing whatever I had to do to make my money. 19, I became a rapper.
Now I got no pick, fuck the cameraman. Fuck your girl who's on camera, man. While taking shots with no cameraman. Fly down on you in that Montana van.
I'm saying, so I went to school. I did mention finishing school, but I actually did enroll in college too. But I get to that. But yeah, at 19, it was one of them things where it was like, I don't know, it was weird. I was in a weird space. Me and my friends, we thought we started working out every day, thinking we was gonna make it to the league on some walk-on college shit. Like, yo, we gonna walk on. We get to school, we gonna put that work in. We gonna walk on. So we was in the gym every day, but like, and I was getting good. Like they could vouch for this. I was on it, but I don't know. It was just something that, and mind you, at the time, this is 2012, like just getting to 2012. So at the time, it's like, this is a fact check it. Nobody was on SoundCloud, people wasn't on SoundCloud, people wasn't rapping. Like, it wasn't a thought, it wasn't a thing. So for me, out of nowhere, I just, I told them, we was like making jokes about it. And like, it was kind of like two ways it happened. I kind of toyed with the idea of telling them I wanted to rap, but at the same time, we also did draw straws. And it sounded like on some cliche shit, but I don't even know if it was straws or it was popsicle sticks. We did something. And I just remember that, ironically, I definitely did lose in that regard. And it was like, yo, like, all right, you gotta really do it. And I remember we was at my man crib playing 2K, and I wrote a rap. And I came down, I was like, yo, listen to this. And I spit it. It was on an I'm On beat. Niggas started geeking, like, yo, they trying to hide, But I'm gonna be real, I'm like, they probably just they my mans, like they just being supportive. And then I started shopping it around, like, yo, asking a bunch of other people, and they was like, damn, like, there's a lot of people like, you could really do this.
Assault rifles like we 100 something. Got some little niggas trying to punish something.
And from there, as with anything I do, I just start to embody it and I start to embrace it. And it's like, I gotta really do it. Like, I can't just say I'm gonna do it. I really gotta do it. So this is me at early 19, all the way through 19. I'm just really trying to learn how to rap. I'm putting stuff out, some of it getting cool.
All I seen was the success that the bills bring. Since 15, I've been a grown man. Never dicky the nigga, I'm my own man. And I don't need a shooter, I got my own hand. And you let a nigga smack you, you's a grown man.
Cool feedback. Some people ain't fucking with it, that's what comes with the territory though. Everybody ain't gonna like everything type shit, but everybody seen that I was hungry and had potential. And then I end up starting R&O movement. So remember, I had the party group, Team Loyalty, that went away. I had my little grace period. I started R&O. And R&O stands for Recognize No Opponent. You know what I mean? I always said, the mental thought of your opponent not existing eliminates the possibility of you fearing them.
Your opponent not existing eliminates the possibility of you fearing them.
So it's just like a self-confidence booster type shit. Like, if I take it out of my head that this is even a threat, it can't oppose me. Like, it doesn't exist. Like, it's not a threat because I did not acknowledge it as a threat. And that was like what we started to embody. But it also meant real niggas only. Like, everybody knew that. But if you knew, you knew type shit. But yeah, in my early 20s, my life was centered around this new version of Nasty Nah. Because this Nasty Nah I had now went from party promoter to street nigga. And like, it was like, yeah, he had the same buzz as like the dude that was known for this party song. But he's also now a street nigga that's kind of getting into rap while still being in college. I used to always do a lot. But long story short, R&O movement, we start that. Like I said, I was the first rapper of the new generation, like of the new era, not of like, cause it was underground before us. And I can name a lot of people from that been existed, but that was their era. They've been around since 07, 08, like they've been around. But in 2012, when I came out, nobody else existed. No other movement was around, definitely not of our time or generation. And I wholeheartedly know that we set the blueprint for what that would look like, because here you got this dude who just started rapping out of nowhere, who got 50 people behind him in these videos, and everybody wearing these shirts, and everybody, so it became like a force real quick. And then it went from people supporting us to other people be like, oh, well, you know, we from here, we could do that. Oh, we could do that. Oh, we could. Next thing you look up, 8-9 months later, there's 10 new rappers on a new rap scene, and they all got their own crews and movements. And it was cool. It wasn't really that deep back then. It was just like, it was just fun. Like, our little crew had a rapper. And yeah, we remain R&O. You know what I mean? We started to spread the message amongst athletes.
Some young niggas a movement. Now fuck with it.
Because we felt like recognizing our opponent was fitting. We started to spread the message amongst schools and colleges, and you know, we started to, you know, that was really the positive light. But it was always still that other element where, although I had my intentions was always positive, I still also at this point had a street background, street attachment. So that always was like the tug and pull. It was like, damn, this shit going good, but still got this shit going on over here. So that was much of my early 20s. I think that, yeah, it started to create its own benefits and problems. But, you know, that was the birth of the new Nasty Nah, the rapper and the leader of the R&O movement, and the forefront pioneer of the new generation of rap. Because like I said, nobody was rapping before me, and this is a fact. Like, nobody could challenge it, because all the rappers that came out after me came out after me. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Even if somebody of the new era generation don't know this, the people that came out when I was out understood that, like, I went through scrutiny as a rapper. I was like, you couldn't just wake up and say, motherfucker, I was 19, you too old, who you think you is, you ass. Like, this is all the shit I was hearing. You know, and I still wholeheartedly felt like I was the first nigga saying, click the link in my bio. Cause like, niggas wasn't even marketing themselves back then. Like, me and my friends used to kill Twitter. And this is a fact, you can fact check this. You know, like, we used to kill Twitter. So, you know, I feel like I went through a lot in my early 20s trying to become this rapper and get respected, cause niggas wasn't respecting it. I wasn't from the DVD era. I wasn't from the freestyle battle era, Cosmic Cav come up show era. I wasn't that. And it was still a little bit of that going on at the time. But it was just like, who this nigga? But then we gotta respect it, because he got all of these. So I'm getting all of this. First rapper that they ever posted from my era on Hip Hop Tonight 87, did the cypher.
Acting up, it might end your life. Selling coke like I invented white. Full throttle, I invented bikes. And I'm rocking out like I invented mics. No red bottoms, I ain't in the spikes. No eyewitness, I ain't in the mics. Fuck you out, little nigga tight. I say fuck y'all, you won't get a sight. Disappear, going AWOL. Lightweight, grabbing 8 ball.
Did all of the cool shit, did all of them things like first rapper organically to make world star of that time. And this is all the stuff that's happening, but as I'm happening, I'm watching the rap scene build around me, seeing other niggas come. Niggas is dropping heat, niggas is getting hot. You know, competition is staring up. And you know, it was fun though. It was fun. I feel like I'm asking repetitive questions in a sense, but it just seems like intriguing to ask. So what were some of the things that you had to deal with in your early 20s? Shit, losing friends. I lost 2 of my homies by the time I was 21. That was relatively new to me. One of them died on a bike. That was my man dying. That was weird as shit to me. I'm gonna be honest, because that was the first time death felt real. I'm like, fuck you, like, nobody I loved that much had died. Niggas been through shit, got shot, cool shit. Not death, like, not, yo, what you mean me and my man can't talk no more? Like, what you mean I can't hit him up? What you mean we can't bid, we can't laugh, we can't joke? And I'm 20 at the time. And, I was in college, I was in Delaware, I was at DSU in the fucking, in the Conrad, which was like the food hall. I'm in there eating when I get the call, and his girl just crying, like, she can't even get her words out. Hang up on her. His uncle called me like, yo, yeah, no, he died. I'm like, huh? Like, it don't even make sense. How? He was just here. He's riding a bike, one of them legal street bikes. Unfortunate accident, but that happened, and that was weird to me, because it was like I didn't even know how to deal with it, I didn't know what to do. It was new. I never experienced it, and I think that little shit was happening in our generation. Little shit was happening, and it made, like, we couldn't even really have nobody to be mad at, because nobody had killed them. It was just like, He just died. So it's like now, here I am, going through this, and who can I be mad at when in reality it's like it's just one of them freak events. So I embodied a lot of that anger, but I didn't know who to lash out or who to put it out on or whatever. It was just in me. And then a few months later, my homie Wall had got killed, which is like, you know, become the whole legacy behind everything else moving forward. But this was different. He got killed. So it was like, oh, now I can be mad. Now I can be angry. Now I can, you know, express myself in these ways. And like, I felt like that right there, that if I was trying to, I don't know, that was just like one of them things where life became even more real. Cause I'm like, damn, you could die like this and you can get killed. And just trying to navigate through that space and learn how to deal with it and just learn how to, like, I didn't know about healing and all that shit. We ain't know about none of that shit when we was young. Like, we knew, like, man, bro was a good nigga. Like, bro would have did whatever for anybody. Like, that's not right. And we just embodied that, and it was just like, it became one of them things where it's like, it became passionate of, like, you know, just making sure that we kept his name alive by any means necessary, and however that looked. So, you know, that was like one of the things that really changed my mindset too, because before he passed away, he was like, and this was a pivotal moment in my 20s, because it ain't the day I left, but it was definitely eye-opening. He was like, bro, like, he was fighting a case or whatever the case may be. Well, I could speak on that. He was fighting like a little cop shooting or whatever. The cops was lying though. And he was facing 50 years. And I remember he was home on pretrial house arrest, and he like, bro, I'm fighting for my life. Like, he like, anybody could do this. He like, anybody could do this. Like, I'm in school at the time. You need to just stay in school, because I would be in school, one foot here, one foot there. Like, you just need to stay in school. He said, I'm gonna be real. You proved yourself over here. Like, and if you feel like you didn't, you did. Like, I'm telling you. And he like, at the end of the day, anybody could do this, but you smart. You smarter than all of us. Not everybody can do what you do. Like, that's just what it is. Like, I'm telling you this as your friend. Do that. Don't do this. That day, I'm like, bro, fuck what you talking about. Like, I'm still on what I'm on because this little identity that I'm carrying, right? It's like, that's a part of it now, and I'm known like around, and like I'm also in the street, so it's like I gotta still embody that identity. He died not too long after. That wasn't our last conversation. Our last conversation is crazy because he called me to pull up on him, and I didn't go. And it wasn't like I had to go, and he understood why I wasn't coming, but it was just like, damn, if I would've went, would it have been different? And I always ask myself that question. Not that I'm taking any type of guilt, because I mean, like, I believe in God. But it's just one of the things where it's like, damn, we talked that night. And that next day I went to the studio. I'm in there making a fucking song.
Got cut off, other niggas just wasn't with it. Homicide tried to grab me for questioning like I wasn't with it.
The day, 2 days before New Year's, and that shit happened. And it was just like, yo, that shit just changed the whole scope of my next year. So now I'm 21, and my whole mindset is different, and I'm fiddling with, damn, bro just told me to focus on this, but at the same time, I'm hurting so bad. Like, which is right? What should I do? You know what I mean? And it took me a while to kind of just step into myself and go with what I felt like was right.
So you went into how you overcame those things. Now I want to know, I think this is a defining moment. And it ties directly to me at this point. How did you leave the streets, and what accredited to that? Like, what played a factor in that decision?
It was that 1 foot here and there thing was like for years. It was ever since me and him had that conversation. I ain't gonna lie, if I'm being real, my pride and my ego was keeping me attached to it. I think mentally I was tapped out like years prior, but I think my emotions and my pride and my ego was like, nah, fuck that. Like, and I think that what contributed, one key factor was I had a daughter, a second daughter, and again, situation that wasn't something that I prepared for, or wasn't something that I planned, or wasn't something that I even, if I'm being quite frank and transparent, wasn't even something that I wanted to happen or wanted to end up in that position, but I never really questioned God. So again, making adjustments. So I didn't immediately get out the streets when my daughter was born. But I remember on one occasion I had took her to court with me for sympathy, you know, nut shit.
God, I'm in there with my baby. Hopefully I look like a wholesome dad. I might look at me and be like, cut him some slack. Give him some grace.
No, I get it.
She put some shit in perspective. She was like, yo, how old is your daughter? I'm like, she probably was like 1. Like, she 1. She like, do you want to see her grow up? Like, do you want to be here when she go on prom? Do you want? And she asked me those questions. I'm asking myself those questions. Like, I never asked myself that. It was always, I'm doing this for my kids. I'm doing this for my. But in reality, I'm like, if I get taken away right here, so that was one of them things that was like super duper convicting for me. Even though I didn't straight make that decision the next day, I still didn't even know what would be next. But I just kept praying on it. And I think ultimately what played a factor was like, I had caught 3 cases. I was went from not having really no cases to catching one little petty case, catching like 3 or 4 cases like this, like being cased up, fighting all of them. And the last case I caught was me and my brother. And this was like, this shit really ain't had nothing to do with me. It was just one of them situations where it was like, this what made me realize, like, damn, you could just get locked up and get charged from being with somebody. And if you ain't giving them what they want, they gonna make you an accomplice. Like, there's no way. Like, and it's like, for me, it was like, I gotta stand on business. I understood the environments that I put myself in, and that's what come with it. But I also said, all right, I could take control of that and just not put myself in those environments. So it wasn't an easy thing and it wasn't an overnight thing, but those 2 key factors on top of that conversation I had with him. Now, granted, in this whole window, because this stretches from like 21 to about 24, a lot of shit did transpire, but I was just taking it as it was coming, even though I really wasn't. I was like, I wish I always wanted to be this kid that could live. I wanted to live this wholesome life. Like, you're a kid, you watch Disney Channel, you see this 2-parent household, and I always somehow wanted that, but my reality never offered that. So that part played the part where I'm like, if I do stop doing this, what am I going to do? Who am I going to be? How can I? And I'm like, I had to start asking myself questions. What do I want my future to look like? Who do I want to be in the future? How can I? And my street identity was tied a lot to my music, my movement. Even though my movement wasn't backed by the streets.
On them. In the kitchen drop, whipping on them. They be acting like we picking on them. Walk down and get the ripping on them. How they act when you don't trip. Right just step, nigga, don't trip. Up banana pills, I still don't slip. If you get shot, nigga, don't miss. But they cap, nigga, can't cool. 805 to a damn room. Introduce you to the sweet life. So many sweets, I got a bad tooth. All summer 16. Now y'all summer 16.
It was really on some college shit, on some positive shit. A lot of my neighborhood friends still was supporting. And all of that was tied. And it was like, leaving the streets was probably one of the hardest things because I didn't know who I was going to be. And I didn't know how people was going to receive me or respect me. Because it was like, I don't know. You just never know how that shit might look or how it might go. And it came with some backlash. Of course, people going to feel like you gave up on them. I mean, I left honorably, but regardless, it was just like, niggas, when you young, niggas don't understand where niggas go do them. They be like, damn, you look selfish to lead a block. You look like you on some nut shit. If you a resource or if you or whatever, you somebody that's somebody to your neighborhood, you look away. Especially me being a leader of my whole life, you damn near, it's almost like if you leaving people left astray. But I felt like at that moment I had to make a decision that was gonna fit my future. And tying into the conversation, down to me taking my daughter to court, down to me catching that last case, and then realizing like, I'm like, man, I'm giving this shit all I got, and it's like, this shit ain't doing nothing but taking from me. Like, I caught these 4 cases, I had to bail myself out multiple times this year, pay for lawyers. All this money I'm making is going to them. Like, this shit ain't helping me at all. And it's like, it ain't really no longevity in this for me. So I'm like, man, I just had to stand on it. Same way I stood on getting in the streets. I said, man, I don't care how people gonna feel. I'm gonna try this other shit. And if it don't work, if all else fails, then I'll see where God take me. But God didn't let me go since.
You just said a lot, and that's definitely a lot to unpack. And that pretty much sums up the questions I have for you, right? But we do have another segment. It's called Open Discussion. And open discussion, we open up the floor for you to then ask me some questions, right? So that's what I want to do. I want to give you the opportunity to ask some questions. But I'm sure it's something you got to think about. So we're going to cut to a quick commercial break. When we come back, Nasty Now is going to be asking what's some questions. So don't go nowhere. You've been saying you want to start a business for quite some time now. You did everything but take the first step. So I'm here to hold you accountable. Stop playing with your own potential. So many millionaires and billionaires and just successful entrepreneurs have gotten to where they are today by simply taking the first step. And I'm gonna tell you what the first step is for you. The first step for you is simply scheduling a consultation. You don't have to have it all figured out. Want to know why? Because we're gonna help you. If you need help with your business plan, we can do that. If you need help registering your business, we can do that. If you need help with marketing, branding, we can do that. You need a logo, we can do that too. Web design, we can do that. And if you already have a business, but you hit a wall, you don't know where to go next, or you might need help with business funding, guess what? We can do that too. So I'm here to let you know. You don't have to know all of the steps. You just got to take the first step. Get with us, schedule a consultation. The Wolf has spoken. I'll see you soon.
So you got to ask me some questions, so I think it's only right that I get to ask you some questions. We got to talk about Nasty Now. Now it's only right that we talk about the Wolf. So before we get started, I got something I want to. You should have had that. Good looking out. You're going to need it.
Let me show this. I'm going to cherish this.
But I'm not going to put it on right now, no, because I got the suit on, but I'm going to get to that. Appreciate that, though.
My first question would be, when did you develop self-love?
It's crazy because, like, as you would know, when you're younger, you think you love yourself. You think you know what self-love is, but I don't think I really realized what self-love was until maybe about 2019. And I want to say I was like 26 at the time. So for the first 25 years of my life, I could say that I didn't even understand what self-love was to say that I love myself. But ever since then, I felt like once I developed self-love, that's when I started to be able to begin my process towards starting my healing journey and what that may look like, being able to recover from the things that you had to go through. For my next question is, when did you start your healing journey? Really, I made a decision, like, because it comes down to a moment where it's like, do I want to allow what happened to me to keep me where I'm at, or do I want to rewrite the story? No pun intended, because I am an author. But for me, it was like being able to, I think it come down in a phase, it's like being made aware that there was even a journey that needed to be started and healing that needed to take place and things that was affecting me, that was affecting my present and my future. And then after that awareness, it came the acknowledgement, like, okay, like, this is what this has to look like if I'm gonna, be better in a sense, right? Then I think lastly it became that accountability where it was like, okay, it's on me to heal. Like, it's not up to nobody else to even say sorry. It's not up to nobody to feel bad. It's not up to nobody to do anything. It's literally on me. What can I do to make my life better? What can I do to not allow all of the things that you had to endure up to this point to, what can I do to transition that into, positive forces that can propel me forward? So, once I went through the awareness of realizing that I was hurting, acknowledging that this is that change had to occur, and then taking accountability for making that change, I feel like I started to read more. I started to spend more time alone. I had something that I seen you ain't get the chance to mention. When we was younger, in that hospital, we developed a sense of codependency because we didn't want to be alone. And like I said, I know you probably didn't think about it, but how it translated in life was always needing to be around people to feel anything. And whenever you was alone, whenever I was alone, I realized, we felt just that, right? Felt unimportant, felt unappreciated, felt alone, felt damn near invisible. And once I could see things like that, I'm like, all right, I need to spend time alone. I need to get with myself. I need to have conversations with myself, because what am I saying to myself? Fuck what everybody else saying about us. What do I believe that's being said? So remember, I read the 4 Agreements, took a trip to Disney World. I remember you mentioned that being your Make-A-Wish. Ended up taking that trip to Disney World just to kind of conquer that fear. And I went alone. I went by myself completely, spent those days by myself. And ever since then, it's just been a constant discovery of new things that I could work on. So now that shit just became a lifestyle. Like, growth, self-love, accountability, all of that just became something. Self-reflection became a part of my lifestyle. Okay. So what are some key things that you learned about yourself since you started your healing journey? That it's a process and it's a journey and it's not a destination. And even when you think you have eclipsed a certain level of growth, it's always another level that you got to go to. And that self-reflection is the biggest key. Like, I feel like I could really reflect on my life and the things we had to endure and literally find someone at fault or somebody that could have did this and somebody that, and when I thought about it, I'm like, that don't really fit me. So what I learned is self-reflection is key for me to figure out what I could do differently moving forward, how I could be better. And it helps me in life because every day I go through a process of self-reflection for about an hour where I literally reflect on every conversation, every reaction, every response. And it allows me to stay accountable within my own actions and at the same time get better moving forward versus, just feeling like I don't got nothing to work on. And it keeps me grounded on this journey because if you always got some shit to work on, then you never perfect. It keeps you humble. You don't have no ego. You can, not even humble, right? Because, we don't like that. Humility. It allows me to live within humility. I learned that, and I just read every single day. There's not a day that I go by that I'm not reading something that's going to further my knowledge, further my wisdom, allow me to be just a better person and challenge me to elevate. So that's what I've been kind of picking up on this journey. And it's been a good one, for real. I'm not the same person I was. I'm not you anymore. Like, it's just the truth. So let me ask you this. It's a two-part question. Who are you today? And who do you see yourself becoming? Right now, I would say I'm a refined and seasoned version of everything I went through. And in a nutshell, who I'm becoming, I would just say is I'm a more intentional man, a man that's more understanding and feel more understood. Always had a purpose, but more purpose-driven, less distracted. And I think that I'm becoming just a greater version of who I was, and I'm going to be the person that God really called me to be without any, past baggage to kind of slow me down or deter me from going after everything that I was called to do. At the beginning, we was asked, who is Naeem? Who is Nasty Nah? Who is Wolf? From your perspective, who would you say that they are? And what makes them you? I mean, I think if those things don't happen, we don't have the Wolf. I say this all the time to people. We say we love who we are, but somehow we always hate how we got there. And that's not how I feel. I don't look back at my past with regret. I look back at it with appreciation. Because had Naeem never went through the conditions, let's phrase it like this. Naeem was counted out, right? Naeem, the doctors told him slim chance of living. They told him he wouldn't be a certain height, he wouldn't live past a certain age, he would have certain medical conditions for the rest of his life. Naeem chose to reject that.
Particular Kings, we kind of doing it early on.
I need people like you, the great man doing the music. See, me, I'm a part of the king, that's something I'm passionate about.
Like sometimes you can give out wisdom, you can give out a gem that's worth more than a diamond.
And it didn't happen overnight, but in doing so, it then translated into Nasty Nah being this confident person that felt, and at the same time, just to tie it back, Naeem also felt like his freedom was stripped of him, not being able to be medically cleared to play sports or just not having to go to the hospital, having to go to physical therapy 2-3 times a week, not feel like he had his freedom as a child while coming into the world with the odds stacked against him being premature. It made him almost have a chip on his shoulder. Like, you know what? I'm not letting nobody tell me what I can and can't do. If I believe I could do it, I'm doing it. And then that made Nasty Nah be this guy that felt like, yeah, I could have my own party song. I could have a party group. I could pack out parties and make money as a kid, which then made it, I could be a rapper. I could start a movement, and all of that then would translate into being like, all right, kid, you could do all of these things, but the way you've been doing it is causing a whole lot of shit over here. So we got to tighten that up. And I felt like Wolf shaved off all of the things that Nasty Nah had that wasn't conducive to what he really wanted. We always know what we wanted. We always did what we wanted, but the ways we went about it just wasn't the right way for what we see for our future. So I think that contribution, it built the character. It built the humility, all of the things that we endured. But now moving forward with it, it's like, nah, we still know what we're going to do. We're going to shake some shit up, but we're going to do it the right way this time. And I'm grateful for you. And I'm grateful for you even passing a baton to me, for me to be able to move forward, because without you, I wouldn't exist. Like, there is no Wolf without you. And your resume your resume may be more impeccable than mine is right now. Yes, I'm an author. Yes, I'm a CEO. Yes, I'm a public figure and just an influence of many, but you gave me this voice and this platform and this courage, and you touch millions of people first. You feel what I'm saying? So don't lose sight of that. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful for you, and I'm gonna always love you, and we gonna always forever be embedded. So don't never let that go. Just no matter how much we grow, you still inside of me. Pause, you know when.
The Wolf has spoken, man. We tapping out. Let's get it.
Hey, Drew, you a fool for this one. Yeah. I entered this shit on my own, trying to switch up the lane and create one for me and my niggas. I left out the streets and start fucking with hair, now this shit coming in, I just get it and flip it. Niggas be hating when niggas shit thingos. We all through the city upgrading they bridges. This shit be too real bitches. Eat me like milk cause they see us departing and think I'm they ticket. I been by the dollar, bet I get it. Y'all still out here trying to fuck on bitches. Never ever was we stuck on bitches. We just drop the bait and bitches come out fishing when you get the shot. Better make it count. Used to grab a bar just to make it bounce. This I score points to bring the numbers down. Now we grabbing bricks to try to make a town. Pussy nigga, you ain't running nothing. See outside and you be running from us. Assault rifles like we hunting something. Got some little niggas trying to punish something. I don't wanna be a poppin' nigga. We the ones that's out here poppin' niggas. Get out of Dodge when the chopper spittin', shit will burn your chest like a shot of liquor. Take the highs with the lows. Y'all be wearing fake clothes. Ball mains looking funny when they hit the light. Where they make those? Fake niggas trying to extend their hand. No, we don't shake those. Niggas homies out here biting cheese. They acting like they ain't know. Hit the club just to network. Get some hoes numbers that I never use. 20 niggas splitting up a tab. Trying to do the math is a bit confusing. They're the ones that like to tuck their funds. That don't got no money but be trying to prove it. Shit is crazy how these niggas playing shit. Got me thinking how the fuck they do it. Ain't that nigga getting one up. Trying to fuck a bitch that I used to have. My team with the whole thing, cause we don't know what we'll do a half. Most shit that these rappers saying wasn't adding up, I had to do the math. Kobe Bryant, how I take my shot. Looking at my future, I don't do the past. 3 bed, 2 bathroom. Use my den, another stash room. And the master give my whole lessons, but it's nothing like a classroom. New bitch stuck in the old ways, but she know how to make her ass move. Come to my side, we'll get you right. Have it hot and ready like fast food. I'm still out here with my niggas on that gang shit. All these bitches trying to fuck me cause I'm famous.
I think, well, I grew up in a church. My grandma owned a church. I used to go to church, but I was forced. So, of course, you stray away and you rebel. I feel like I always had a relationship with God, and I've always been spiritual. I always understood and knew that I was being guided and guarded by the higher power for a bigger purpose. I think as I get older, it get more and more clear, and I start to understand my relationship with God and how that identifies. I do accept, Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And, I'm constantly growing within my faith and just being able to, see how that identifies within my behavior. But I always reverted to God whenever, I didn't just wait till I pray every day. I didn't just wait till I was, in trial and trying to turn it to, triumph. For me to call out to God, I always try to stay within that realm. Been super spiritual. I do feel like I've been way more intentional because I've been way more understanding later in my years of the power and of the presence of God and what that can do. So you'll hear it more in my speech. But I've always had a relationship with God. And if you don't have a relationship with God, I think you should develop one and be very intentional about it. I tell people all the time, man, it's not really up to me. And people might not agree with this. I don't care how you practice, what you practice. As long as you have a relationship with God, whatever that looks like to you, I salute you, I respect you, and I feel like God got you. So just work on that, build that relationship. Don't be out here believing in nothing. And just maintain your sense of self within the rights to what God called us to be. Yeah, man, I'm a spiritual person, spiritual being, man.
What's going on is the Wolf, and If you made it this far, then that means you have successfully not only watched the entire episode, but you have watched the entire season. I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun bringing it to you guys on a weekly basis, and we got more to come, but this definitely concludes season 1. I hope there was a lot of gems that you was able to take from it. I hope there was a lot of valuable information, and I hope you was able to enjoy the process, because we enjoy making it for you. And I don't want y'all to go nowhere, because I want y'all to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow the journey. Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram at wolfnetworkwse. Make sure you add us on YouTube and subscribe Wolf Network, the channel, and just continue to just stay tuned for the journey. This is only the beginning, and we want to continue to bring these things to you. We want to continue to improve, and we only taking a break so we can get better, but we be right back. So don't go nowhere, and if you need to, go watch some previous episodes and go watch straight to the point, man, of the Wolf Network. Watch us turn it all the way up, man. We out. Wolf has spoken.